Hello everybody, how are we doing? My name is Charles Barton, otherwise known as Viridian in the Discord, and I am your Achroma Community Coordinator, and you are here today on the 26th of March for the Achroma Weekly News Stream. Thank you for being here, and I hope you're all doing well. Let's start by welcoming everybody in the chat and having a look. So this for this stream, we asked the question, which side will you be fighting for in the upcoming Curdle event, which we are going to be talking about more on stream today, Achroma or Achroma? So let's see. Also, a hearty hello from our little funguire as well. So let's see. So welcome into Sarah, who started with Achroma. So I'm gonna count. I'm going to try and count how many. So we got one for Achroma. We'll welcome in Lewis. So we got one for Achroma. Welcome in Heron. One for yeah, Achroma. Okay, that's two for Achroma. Welcome in Dickon. Good to see you. Achroma. So we got 2-2. Welcome in Ace. Achroma 3. Hazmat said, welcome in Hazmat. Depends on whether I steal Achroma from my opponent. Very true. Mary is going with Achroma. So that's 4 for Achroma. But yeah, welcome in Mary. Great to see you. But yes, Heron, before I continue the count, massive congratulations on the birth of your daughter. I'm glad to hear everything's going well. Massive congratulations. What else have we got? We've got Mongoose. Welcome in, Mongoose, going with Achroma as well. So we've got 5 for Achroma at the moment. Evelyn, welcome in. Nice to see you as well. So we've got 6 for Achroma. Welcome in, Daniel. Daniel's going for the Achroma side. Very nice. Let's see. Good Omen's going with Achroma. So we've got 7. And welcome in Warrior going Achroma. Okay, so in the chat currently, we've got 7 for Achroma, 4 for Achroma. But I like what Lewis said. Lots of people here can be wrong. But yes, so the reason why we brought up that question is that the main topic of today's stream is indeed going to be the Curdle event, which is all about that Achroma v Achroma. We're going to be talking about that more momentarily. But in the meantime, welcome in everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to see you all. If you have any questions as we go out for the stream, always welcome to pop them in chat. I will make sure to not miss any questions in chat. But otherwise, shall we get into it? Welcome in Richard, going Achroma as well. Very nice, very nice. And yes, Lewis hoping that she's going to be called Funguire, I hope. Didn't think of that name, should have. It's not too late. It's not too late. Just get the eraser on the birth certificate. So, for those that haven't been in a Achroma news stream before, here's how it's going to work. We have 4 categories that we go through. We're going to start with some Achroma news. Speaking of which, Fungwa said hello, but I'm actually going to move him off the mic because I'm worried that I might knock him off and I don't want him to break. So we're going to start with some Achroma news, where we talk about all of the Achroma events that have happened over the past 7 days, and just, bits that you might want to know about, things that are upcoming. We then have a section specifically about upcoming events, where we'll talk about what events you can expect to see from us soon. And that is probably going to be one of the biggest parts of today's stream, because we're going to be talking about the Curdle event happening next Saturday. Then we have a special sneak peek, of which we never like to disappoint. So this week I have for you 8 new expansion cards, and I have 10 new alt art cards to show you. So that's going to be fun. And then, as always, we have a little bit of community showcase, where I like to shine some light on some of the amazing work that you guys have been putting into the community this week. So, shall we get started? So, to start with, I like to do a bit of an update on the Kickstarter orders, as obviously a lot of you have been very patient waiting for your orders from the Kickstarter, so I want to keep you guys updated week on week as to exactly what is happening with your orders. Love that. Oh, the new Civ art is beautiful here, and it's absolutely amazing, isn't it? Brilliant. So, first thing to mention is that the alt art cards are going to be sent to the printer next week. And at that point, when they get sent off, I can confirm at that point that all of the other cards have been sent off. So, let me say that in a little bit easier English. All of the other cards have been sent to the printer except for the alt art, which will be sent out early this week. So all of the cards are currently with the printing press. So it is hopefully how long is a piece of string as to when they come back. But essentially, we're not waiting for anything else other than being printed. As soon as they come back, we will package them up and get them to you guys ASAP. I've got a note here that we are on track to start dispatching cards to the Kickstarter backers before the end, or around the end of April, or a little bit sooner if possible. But yeah, we're on good track at the moment. And the products will hit the retail shortly afterwards. So for those that potentially didn't get what they wanted in the Kickstarter, maybe you didn't have enough money, or you didn't know it existed, some people have only just joined the community, the Rise of the Realm Runner expansion packs and all the other products that we have, kickstarted that weren't Kickstarter limited edition, will be on the store at around the same time. So yeah, not too long at all to get those. As well as the box art is being finalized this week and getting sent off to print. So that's the artwork for the boxes that they'll come in. And then once that's all happened, we're then going to shift our, once we've that's all the cards then dealt with, we're then going to shift our efforts into the wrapping up the roleplay game alpha document, which is very, very close to being finished now as well, I've been told, as well as things like the Voltex accessories and the merch. So we are getting through them. Have the box arts changed much from the previous Kickstarter? On the outside, they've not changed very much, Lewis, but on the inside, there's been we've been trying to figure out what's best to put on the inside, where are we putting the rules, where are we putting the turn order, where are we putting links, I'll give you this little one for free. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying it, but I know that, for example, in the box, we're going to have the palette lists. So in case you mix up your cards, the palette list for that faction that you've bought will be on there. So it's things like that we've been just trying to finalize of exactly how much it's going to be. But yeah, it'll be nice if these boxes. Oh, again, I'm not sure whether I'm saying too much, Lewis, but I can confirm these new boxes are sleeve fittable. That wasn't good English either. They do fit card sleeves. I've seen a concept where they fit card sleeves. Obviously, it very much depends on what card sleeves. You do get some that are bigger than others, but yeah, it should fit. That'd be perfect. I'm nervous to deck build because I'm scared to forget where everything goes. Exactly. I mean, technically, Mary, it is currently on the website. So you can go to achroma.cards/palette-lists. So you can do that. So that is still possible right now, but obviously it'll be nice for newer players when they get out of the box, they can mix around cards and not have to worry, in fairness. So yes, that is that little bit of news. So that's everything on the Kickstarter side of things. If anyone has any other questions, then obviously let me know. So the next bit of news is all around YouTube. As for those that are here week on week, you understand that I always talk about this. So this is where I like to talk about any YouTube videos that have come out this week that maybe you haven't seen that have come out, but I would definitely recommend you go and watch. So the only video that's come out this week for the Achroma official channel is chapters 3 and 4 of the role-playing game alpha one-shot that we recorded. So if you've not yet gone and watched that, definitely go and watch it. There are some hilarious moments. If I say 3 Achrom, then that will, minus 3 Achrom, I should say, then those that have watched it will understand why it was so funny. If you haven't watched any of the RPG playthrough so far, then I recommend going and obviously starting with chapter 1. You can find it under the role-playing game playlist on our YouTube channel. It's really, really fun. But yes, 3 and 4 has come out this week if you haven't already seen that. Although it wasn't a video that came out, I did put out a YouTube poll the other day. So if you're on our YouTube channel and you go to if you look at the tabs, there's like a tab that's called Community. There you can see a poll that I put out. Or if you've just been scrolling through YouTube, some of you might have seen the poll that way. And it's basically just me asking you, the community, what type of videos do you want to see more of? If you haven't already responded to that poll, I'd really appreciate you doing it, because that will directly impact which videos I look to make next. Yes, the Bracket 3 initiative, it was hilarious, wasn't it, Dickon? We cracked up at that in the video. And then the one other thing to mention with YouTube is that this isn't something to do with our YouTube channel, but this week we have had another channel review the Achroma card game. It's a channel called Agents of Sigmar, and they had a really in-depth 30-minute review talking about the game, and again, it's a really nice review. I'd appreciate it if you guys go and check it out, because they've supported us by doing the review. The least we can do is support them by going and giving them a view and watching it. And also, it's just interesting to see fresh players' perspective on the game. The link to their YouTube video is down in the links underneath the stream, should you wish to check that out at a later date, but not now, because we're currently watching the live stream. But yeah, thank you very much to Agents of Sigmar if you're currently watching, for reviewing the game. And that is the YouTube news. So next then is a little bit of news. So this happened on Thursday. I don't have a better picture than this one, unfortunately. I'll explain what this is in a moment. So on Thursday at the store, I wasn't there. Chillman, one of the core team, and a few 7 others of the community trialed a custom game mode, otherwise known as a cube format. Now, the idea of a cube format is not brand new. There are other card games that have done this. Now, the person who brought it specifically to Achroma is one of our community members called Lewis. I believe he's in the stream now, Lewis Davis. So thank you very much for bringing this to Achroma. Lewis took the time to actually print out booster boxes, which will make sense in a moment, and kind of prepared it for us, went down to the store and played with 7 other people to have a go, and it went really, really well. So let me explain a little bit about what is a cube format, and this is going to be important for later on. Wink, wink. So I'm going to read it word for word, because I want to make sure that I don't get it wrong. Lewis has very kindly given me a bit of info about it, just to make sure I don't get it wrong. So how a cube works is you take several sets of a realm. So they had, I believe, 2 sets of Siege of Draco Temple, and they split that into booster packs. These booster packs were, each booster pack contained 12 cards, which was a legendary or rare, 3 uncommons, and 8 commons, obviously at random. Now, these booster packs, what you do is you would pass them round to each other. So you would get 3 booster packs, and you would open up one of the packs, and you would take just 1 card from that pack, and then you'd pass it to someone else. So then you'd get the next booster pack, and you'd open it up and take a next card from that. So you are selecting cards. Obviously, you're going to pick the best card, and you might be, you might pick up a Ludlam City Gate, and you're really hoping that in the next booster pack is a Ludlam City Guard to combo, but you might not get that. It's a bit of, bit of randomness. And so you keep repeating this until all of the booster packs are empty. Once you've finished with this, you will actually have obtained 36 cards. Now, for most of you Achroma players out there, you'll know that the deck size is normally 30 cards. So what you then do is, with those 36 cards in front of you, you get to choose 30 of them. So 6 of them you get to essentially discard and go, I know I chose those, but I don't actually want them anymore. So from those 36 cards, you make yourself a 30-card palette. Now, something to keep in mind, that the rest of the palette building rules are out the window. So you can have multiple legendaries. You can have 5 copies of Vast Volataris. You don't have to actually, you don't have to follow the deck building rules, because it's literally a case, the deck building rules are, you get what you can pick out, essentially. And then you play a game of Achroma. And so you say, goodness, it is a lot of, faff is one word for it. Yes, it takes a lot of setup. Yes, it does. This is something that you wouldn't just casually, hey, let's have a half-an-hour game of Achroma. Yeah, whip out the cube. This is something that you go, hey, we've got an hour or 2 to kill. Let's play. Because you do have to, you have to get out all of your cards. You have to then, mix them up and then put them into the deck boxes. So I appreciate it's not as simple as just take the box out and go. But it's a really, really fun format. Again, I can't comment too much on it because I haven't played it myself yet. But the feedback that we had from Thursday was that I'm reading here word for word. People said it was a really great format. They said the feedback was really great. It felt really good. It really worked. And it was just apparently very nice to... It just forced you to have a change. Because at the moment, when you play Achroma, you either play with the standard decks, which, are really, really well balanced, but look, I wouldn't say get boring over time, but they can get repetitive over time. And, even if you start making, even when you start making custom palettes, it still gets to a point where once you've played against one Copper Joss palette, you've probably played against most Copper Joss palettes, you know what I mean? So what's nice about the cube is it really forces you to, they're not going to be good decks. So the deck you're currently looking at on the screen is actually the winning deck. It was won by Chillman. So the deck you're looking at is the one that won. Is that a very good palette? No, not in the slightest. You've got 4 rummages. You've got not very much gain. You've got a little bit of steal. It's not a very good palette. But it's just something that is... It just makes it a little bit different is all. But that's perfectly fine, Good Omens. It's not something, just to be very clear, in case anybody is worried, this is not about to be something that I go, right, guys, the Achroma rules are out the window. It's now cube only. Like... To be very clear, if you do get a chance to play in the cube, or even if the cube was to become something that we eventually, do properly with the Achroma, it would always be something like optional. It'd be like playing heroes. For some people, there may not ever be any, motivation to play it. For others, it might be. It really depends on your situation. But the feedback that we had was that it was really, really fun to play. And may I say, again, a massive thank you to Lewis, who took the time to prepare it, get it ready, and take everybody through the first one. Exactly. It's just a different way of playing the game with a big group. But if you don't enjoy it, if it doesn't appeal to you, that's absolutely fine. No worries. But yeah, well done to Lewis for that, and well done to everybody that had a go at that on Thursday. It sounded like a lot of fun. A little bit more about the cube later. I'll come back to that in a bit. The next bit of news is around the card update. So if you were here in last week's stream, you will know that last week we have spoken about on stream all of the chapter 1 card changes. So there were lots of cards there were a couple of cards that have been changed dramatically. There were lots of cards that had small updates. And at the time of the stream last week, I said that we weren't going live with the rules with the new cards right away, because we were going to wait for the card database to be updated. Now, in a slight mix-up, that's the wrong word. In a slight change of plans. So, for those that haven't seen it, earlier this week, I did post an article on the Achroma website, and I did post it around socials as well. If you've not yet seen that article, it's linked down below. It's called Chapter 1 Updates. So, in that article, I detailed everything that we spoke about in stream and confirmed that from that article onwards, we are now playing by the new card changes. So if you're ever playing at an official tournament, if you're ever playing, if you're ever playing anything official, you should be playing by what the cards now look like. Now, with that, we did originally say last Sunday that the card database, where you guys can search for a card and see it, was going to be updated with the new cards early this week. Unfortunately, due to a few barriers that we weren't expecting to come our way, the card database is not yet updated. I am hoping that it will still be early this week. That's not a promise. That's just I will try my best. It very much depends on how quickly we can get over some of these barriers that are still in the way. And we'll go from there. However, because I know that a lot of you in the community are really desperate to see the new changes to the cards, literally card for cards, and obviously the database hasn't come out yet, I've released another article today. Again, it's linked down below if you haven't already seen it, or go to the Achroma.cards website, called Continued Chapter 1 Card Updates, where you can actually see every card that it matters listed with the card changes. So you should now be playing with those card updates if you're using Chapter 1 cards. For anyone that is more of a casual player, or maybe that stresses you out by thinking, oh my god, I've now got to learn the cards, to be very clear, you don't have to. If you're just playing casually with your mates, then feel free to play with the cards as they are on the card themselves. There is nothing wrong with that. But just to be very clear, if you're playing at any of the official tournaments, you are going to be expected to play with the card updates, so it makes sense to learn them and get used to them. On top of that, you might play against someone on Discord, and they will expect you to naturally play by the new rules unless you've specified otherwise. So it's worth having a look. Hey, Tiggs, welcome in. Late to the vibe, but no worries at all. Hello, Henry. Just got off stage. What did I miss? Not much so far. We've spoken about the Achroma Cube. We've spoken about some of the videos that went live this week and a bit of an update on the Kickstarter. So you haven't missed the main show today, which is coming up very soon. Good to see you, mates. Lewis also says, Charlie lied to us. We demand he gets fired. Yep, I expect my P45. Yeah, and I made a mistake in the rules questions earlier this week. So I definitely expect my P45 tomorrow. But yes, so... the one other thing I wanted to mention about the card erratas is, I will mention now. So although the card database isn't ready now, you will see it hopefully, like I said, next week. I do want to prepare you guys for what the database will look like. So to be very clear, at the moment, if you go to the card database, you will see all of the unlimited edition cards. Sorry, all of the first edition cards. These are all the cards that you have in your hands right now that are technically the old wording. Now, some of you are probably expecting just to see those be updated. That's not what's going to happen. Instead of removing the first edition cards and uploading the unlimited ones, we're actually going to be having both cards on the website. So for example, once we finish the database, there will be 2 copies when you search for Murky Manor. One will be the first edition, one will be the unlimited edition. Now, some of you might be saying, well, what's the point in that? Because surely if we're going by the new update, why do we need to see the old card? It's more of a case that we don't want to lose track of what the old cards look like. Yes, you could have a notes section that says it used to say this, used to say this, but we want to have all the cards on the site. Now, what we're doing to make sure that it doesn't confuse people is that and this is currently live on the database, it will help players to know the difference. What is on the database currently live now is that when you go to the filter section, there's actually a filter for unlimited edition and first edition. So if you wanted to see the first edition cards, you can filter for that. Now, what isn't live on the database now, but will be next week when we get the rest of it updated, is when you go to the database, it will auto-filter to the unlimited edition. So those that are new players that are just searching for a card, rather than it coming up with 2 Murky Manors and going, hold on, which one's mine, or which one should I play by? It will only show the most up-to-date one, the unlimited edition card, but then if you want to see the other one, you can then change the filter to first edition. So it isn't going to cause any confusion, because people will still only see the most up-to-date one, but if you wanted to see the first edition card, you'll be able to filter for it. There is another reason for this, and it's because with things like the adventure game and the RPG coming up, there might be times, and this is a slight sneak peek, but I don't really know much more than I'm about to say, there might be other versions of the cards in the future for separate game modes. So I think we're working to a direction whereby one day you'll just be able to search for Murky Manor and you'll be able to go, here's the first edition, here's the limited edition, here's the RPG version, here's this version, it'll be like those sort of things. But all you need to know about for now is that we are doing every step we can to make sure that it is as simple as possible, but also not losing any lovely pictures of the cards. But yeah, so that is what I wanted to update with the card erratas. Hopefully that all makes sense. He will take all the fungal cards with him, though. Yeah, that's very true. I will steal them all. Yeah. As opposed to listing patch notes, so to speak, it's just kind of keeping them there for person. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have listed the patch notes. Technically, if you look at either of those 2 articles that I listed down below, Marie, those are... Those effectively are the patch notes, but yes, rather than like having an individual patch notes in each card of the database, we're just having, here's the 2 individual cards. And what I have done is in the first edition cards, I've updated the notes section to say, this is the old version, you should play by the new one. So it's even if anybody accidentally clicks on a first edition, there will be a note that clearly says, this is not the most up-to-date one, go check out the other one. Love Murky Man the RPG. Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Hen is forcing Mana to be OP. Yeah, exactly. Hen wants to keep Murky Manor alive. So the next bit of news is around the realmless cards. That's actually the wrong image. So it's not really a sneak peek, because go back to a few streams ago, we've already released to you guys all of the realm runners and all of the realm relics that you guys will be getting in the Kickstarter if you pledge for it, or in the future if you do pay for it. However, there is, oh wait, I didn't even mention the rules. There was one more thing to mention. Oops. I knew there was a reason why that image was there. I did that last week too, didn't I? So I can say this really briefly. For those that also haven't seen, we have had a slight change to our actual how to play, as in the rules on our website. The link, again, is down below. I listed another article. Maybe you should guys just check out the articles on the website. I've been working really hard on them. There is a article on the website called Updates to the Rule Change, to the Rules. Now, to be very clear, again, for the players that are new or anybody that wants to keep things simple, we have not changed any of the rules. It's not a rule, it's not like it's more of a rules update than a rule change, I should say. None of the rules have actually been changed. If you know how to play the game now, you already know how to play the game. All we've done is we've updated what's been happening over the last sort of 6 months to a year is someone will come into the Discord under the question section and they'll say, okay, in this niche scenario, does this work with that? If I do this, does that happen? And obviously Chillman has been working really hard, whispering into my ear so I can say to you what the answers are. And what I've done is I've updated the how to play page to account for these gray areas. That's like my term of the week, isn't it? Gray areas. So yes, all I've done is I've adapted the rules to make sure that there are less of these little holes of what if this, what if that. Yeah, clarifications, exactly, Lewis, thank you. So if you haven't yet seen it, check out the article down below, because I literally detail exactly what I've changed, so you haven't got to, like, skim read and find out for yourself. But there we go. So, going back to what I was saying before, because I completely skipped over that bit, I should definitely read my script once in a while. So, yes, we have got new Realm Runners and Realm Relics that, if you pledge in the Kickstarter to a certain pledge level, you will be getting them. Even if you haven't got them, they will be available for purchase on the website very soon. And we have already sneak peeked those cards. However, we always said that they were subject to change. Well, I can confirm that all of the cards have gone to the printer, and I'm now going to reveal to you all of the Realm Runners and Realm Relics again, and I will describe to you which ones have been changed and what to. I'll be honest, most of them haven't changed, but the few that have changed, I think most of you will agree needed changing or are better off with how these are. Is that something that can be printed and kept to hand? Yes, technically you could print my article and keep it to hand if you wanted to. But I have noted, Good Omens, that I think it was fed back in a previous stream that you guys do want like a printable PDF how to play document. That is something I've got on my to-do list, Omens. I can't give an ETA on it, but it is definitely something that I'm going to get done ASAP. And when I do, I'll probably put out another article, funnily enough, to say, hey, this PDF exists, should you need to download it. So technically you can print the article, but I am working on something a little bit better for you in the meantime. So let's have a look at the Realm Runners and Realm Relics. Mutant don't need change, don't. Okay, you know what? Okay, let's see what you guys say in chat first. But I appreciate not everybody has seen all the Realm Runners and Realm Relics, but for those that have seen, I want you guys to write in chat now which Realm Runners or Realm Relics do you think were too strong and needed changing, or which do you think were too weak and needed changing? It'll be interesting to see if any of them have changed. I'll give you guys 30 seconds to see which ones you would like to have seen changed, whilst I have a drink. Mary, can I print the article announcing the printable articles? And is the question. Yeah, you can. You could do that. Sarah, Mutants. You want Mutants to go, but Heron doesn't. Lewis says no comment. I know why. You can remember his name. Fair enough. Hazmat says Jana needed to change. Interesting. I'll give you guys another 10 seconds in case any other comments come in. Otherwise, we'll get started. Mongoose Mutants. Okay. All right. So, starting then with Hiroto and Hisano. So I can confirm that neither of these have changed. For those that haven't seen them, I'll still read them out because it's nice for you to see it. And all of these images, including the sneak peeks I'll talk about later on, will be in the sneak peeks channel of the Discord after stream. Now, yeah, these two have not changed, but for those that haven't seen them, Hiroto is a realm runner. He's a 1-cost legendary, +1 in the resolve, and his ability is once during your turn, you may pay 3 shards to erase a card from any campus. Very, very strong card if you can keep him alive. On the art it might have changed, actually. I didn't actually compare the art. Maybe it has changed? Maybe. On the right-hand side is Hisano. She is a 1-cost legendary realm runner. She has an action, erase all cards on all canvases except for Hisano, and each player then discards their hand and draws 5. I love Hisano. It's such a good way of clearing the board, and also, you know, it's a complete hit to players for playing like Vast Volataris. But yeah, so those two have not changed. So I'm going to breeze past those quite quickly. All the chrome ones need to be made cheap, cost, and heavy hitting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very spicy for trader decks, actually. That would be good, because it draws you 5 more cards, doesn't it, Matt? But it wouldn't trade for very much. Imagine if you got that in your fishing dock. So the next one then is Hod and Mutants. So as Mutants was the main topic, I can confirm Mutants has not changed. It's not changed. So Heron, you're fine. I will say, although I say has not changed, pretty much all of the cards have had slight wording differences, but that's because we've changed the wording to like read better, if that makes sense. So when I say a card hasn't changed, it might have actually changed a tiny bit, but the actual ability has not changed. It's just that we've clarified. So Mutants is still deploy on another player's canvas. Mutants cannot attack. So you're giving someone else Mutants, but he can't attack. And whilst Mutants is on your canvas, you must play 2 shards whenever you draw a card. So if you're playing against a Trader's deck or a Vast Volataris deck, basically any deck where they're going to be drawing a lot of cards, play Mutants, and every time they draw a card, they have to pay 2. It is absolutely, it's huge. It's such a cool card. It's really fun. And, you know, I think trader decks, they're very powerful. Vast Volataris decks are very powerful. So it's nice to see a legendary that is specifically going against them. And, you know, it's not impossible to beat. You need to, you just need to play some form of control card to get rid of them. So Hod has a change. He is one of our first main changes we've seen. So how he has changed is what he used to be was action, choose another player. Whenever they gain shards, you gain the same amount whilst Hod is on your canvas. So this actually happened to me when I was testing Hod in the store a few months ago, where I played Hod on my board and I said, yep, I choose the player in front of me. When they gain shards, I gain shards. But then what happened is on their turn, they played role reversal and took Hod off me. And because Hod left my canvas, so did the ability. The ability ceased because it was whilst on your canvas. So the way he's been changed is now while Hod is on any canvas. So it's actually been a bit of a buff to Hod. So let's say I play Hod, and as the action, I choose you, the player on the other end of the camera, to, you know, whenever you gain shards, I gain. If you now claimed Hod or role reversaled Hod, that wouldn't stop him. Even though Hod would now be on your board, I'd still be gaining the shards. Exactly, Hod loves trader decks. So it's just a little bit of a buff to Hod, a little bit more security. It now means if he's claimed or swapped using role reversal or any other kind of role swapping cards, then you're not going to lose Hod's ability. However, he's still counterable. Just erase him, and it's gone. But yes, so that is the first main change. Hod has been changed. What have we got next? Next, we've got Feasto and Nimi, which I can confirm that neither of these have changed. They've had slight wording changes, but again, it's just clarifications. For those that have not seen these 2 cards before, Nimi is a 1-cost legendary action. Total up the shards in all players' shard banks, then distribute the shards equally among all players, round down if needed. So let's say you had 4 players where this player's on 10 shards, this player's on 12 shards, this player's on 1 shard, that player's on, 10 shards. So you got 10, 12, so that's 22. What do we say? 1, so 23. And then we said another 10, so 33. So let's say, so that's 33 shards. You then need to do, rounding down, 33 divided by 4. This is testing me on stream. 33 divided by 4, rounding down is 7? Yeah. No. 8. Yes, it'd be 8 to remainder 1. So every player would go to 8. So the players that were on 10, 10, and 12 would obviously lose shards, but the player that was on 1 shard is now up to 12. So Nimi is a really good legendary to put into maybe like an Achroma deck. So if you're ever on like just 5 shards and your opponent's on 28 and they're about to win, you play Nimi and suddenly you even the board. So very, very good for Achroma decks. Feasto is a 2-cost legendary. Whenever a card is erased from your canvas, you may gain the erased card shards and draw a card. I personally think Feasto is going to work really well in a Drake sacrifice deck, because when you sacrifice a card on your board, you can then gain the shards back. And it's not once per turn, it's just every time a card gets erased. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. So yeah, like I said, those cards have not changed, so we're going to skip past them quite quickly. All of these are in the Discord already if you want to see them more. Does it count as a gain/loss on Nimi? What do you mean by that? Does it count as gain/loss? Oh, are you referring to things like if I had Hod on my board, would I technically be gaining those shards? That's a really good question that I don't know the answer to, Lewis. I'll find out from Chill. Yeah, I understand, and I'm guessing you mean like, you know, what if you had Hod on your canvas? What if you had other cards like that? I will find out from Chill exactly. There you go. There is Chill. Just got here. Nope. So it's a redistribution, not gaining or losing. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Welcome in, Chillman. Good to see you, mate. So the next one to mention, and this one is a change, we have got Ray and Jana. So I'll say now, Ray has not changed, so let's go straight to Jana. Now, Jana, a lot of people were concerned about Jana. How she used to be is she used to be plus X in the resolve, and X equaled all of the shards on your canvas. So if you had 5 cards out, where the total shard value of all 5 of those cards was 15, then Jana is a plus 15. And that's every single resolve step. So if you got Jana out and gave her protection so that she can't be erased for a turn, that's insane. This is a much needed change in my opinion, but she is still extremely strong. Jana name, yes, absolutely. So now, as an action when you play her, you choose just 1 colored shard, and then X is the number of shards on your canvas with that chosen color. So it's a bit like Chroma Overflow, but every resolve step. So, you know, you can still build some very powerful palettes with this. Obviously, Achroma is not one of those abilities, so you're very much not going to play Jana in a Achroma palette. But, you know, if you choose something like, I don't know, Holder Trolls, you know, the Lakringi tribe, that, let's be honest, they're pretty much all magenta with a bit of green. You know, you might choose green or magenta, and actually Jana could suddenly be, yeah, exactly, dragons. Choose dark blue in a dragon's palette, and you're still going to get a lot of gain from her, but not as heavy as it was. So it's still going to be a very, very strong card, but now you're actually going to have to build a palette around it more specifically and not just throw her into any palette and do well. Before, she was just throw her into anything and she's OP. So yeah, I think that's a much nicer change, and I think she's still going to be very, very, I think she's still going to be chosen quite a lot, to be honest. So yeah, very, very nice change. Next one, this is another one of the big changes. We have Brisingamen and Symmetry Stone. So let's talk about Symmetry Stone first, as that's the biggest change. This one was already sneak peeked in the Discord by Sheriff, but not everyone would have seen that. So Symmetry Stone used to be, it used to be action, find a card and play it for free. And it also used to have an ability, which was, it can be the only card played on that turn. So if you played Sintamani Stone, I should say is the correct way of saying it. If you were to play the stone, it's the only card you could play on your turn, so you couldn't play other cards. So it's actually had that bit taken away, so it now does not have to be the only card you play on your turn. But rather than action, find any card and play it for free, because let's be honest, Murky Mana got nerfed for that reason, so the last thing we were going to do is put it on the stone. Instead, it's still a very powerful ability, but it's now dig instead. So action, dig a card from any player's dregs and immediately deploy it for free. Which, to be very clear, although you could argue that's a bit of a nerf because finding is arguably better than digging, the fact that you can dig any player's dregs, this is going to be I reckon this is still going to be one of the top picked objects, because it's 5 cost, 2 steel. That's already fantastic. Yeah. And now, you know, your opponent has Copper Joss in the dregs. Because, okay, most of you that play with me in the Discord know that one of the things that I find most, what's the right word? Frustrating is the wrong word, because, you know, it's a game at the end of the day. But one of the things that is, I'm going to use that word, but I think of it less dramatically frustrating about fairy palettes or pixie palettes is that things like Spiral and Copper Joss, it's too easy for them to keep digging for them back. So Copper Joss or Spiral, let's be honest, they're gonna come back 2 or 3 times in a game. But with Symmetry Stone, oh, Copper Joss is in the bin. Lovely. Play Sintamani Stone. Sorry, I will get it right. And suddenly you can have Copper Joss on your boards. So yeah, really nice. And with Hex Clunker, so every time Symmetry Stone goes into your dregs, you can once per turn dig for Symmetry Stone back and play it for free, and take another character from dregs. So that stone and Clunker is going to become a very powerful combo. Incredible, because you can even use the stone to dig for Clunker. It's just, it's insane. It's really cool. Huxon, Copper Joss, any powerful cards, exactly. The stone is like Otrix, but the character must be dead and you must have a character out. Exactly. So it's not overpowered by any means, but it's definitely a very strong card. But it's a realm relic, it should be strong, eh? But yeah, so that is a big change that's happened. Brisingamen has had a slight change, and I will check. Chill, did you get a chance to message me back? You did. Okay, cool. Yeah, I asked Chill a question, so I'll check. So, Brisingamen has, it's not been actually changed how it works, but it has had a bit of a wording change. So characters cannot attack the attached character. So if you attach that to a Darnacusk, no one can now attack that Darnacusk. And all other characters must attack when able to during their turn. So all of your characters and all of your opponent's characters, when it's their turn and it's in their main step, they have to attack with those characters. A bit like the card Rock from Draco Temple. You could attack anytime you like on your turn. So you could like play an object first or play a Breath of Fire, and you only have to attack if there is an opponent to attack. So yeah, basically get rid of your opponent's objects with characters with actions, and then you wouldn't have to attack. Mutants dies, play the stone, and roll swap. Yeah, very true. Oh, actually, I've had a question. Chill, Chris. If I have Mutants on my board, sorry, let's say that somebody's put Mutants on my board. No, okay, let's do this today. Let's say I've put Mutants on your board, Chris, and then I play Brisingamen on my board. Does Mutants have to attack? Or is it if they're able to? Because he can't attack, is he not able to? I guess that's probably why they added the word able to, because that wasn't in the previous wording. Before it just said must attack on their turn. So I'm guessing because it says when able to, Mutants can't attack, so therefore he can't able. Okay, that probably answers my own question. Maybe I should have read the cards, eh? Yes, okay, that makes sense. And that's probably why you added that wording. Lovely. So those are those two. I'll be honest, none of the others have changed dramatically, so we're going to go through them quite quickly. So Club of Dagda, it has been reworded quite dramatically, but it hasn't actually, it's just, we've reworded it so it reads nicer, but it has not been changed. So Club of Dagda is still a 4-strength object. Attached character has unlimited attacks during your turn. Each time the attached character attacks you, immediately +1, and Club of Dagda can only be erased if the attached character is raised. And then we've got Darwin on the right-hand side. 4-cost Realm Relic. Attached character can attack locations, and when a location is erased by Darwin, gain the location shards. Something I will mention about Club of Dagda that not many people have understood so far. To be very clear, when you attack with Club of Dagda, it still can, even though it only gets erased when the attached character is raised, it still loses shards. So if you attach Club of Dagda to a Draco Hatchling, so that's a total of 5 shards, if your first attack is against a Serrano, which is 4 shards, technically your Hatchling and Club of Dagda is down to 1 shard. If you attacked again and attacked another Hatchling, you would now lose your Club and Hatchling. So it's not like you're not invincible, but you could just attack unlimited times. So you probably want to play Club of Dagda onto a character that has a lot of shards. You know, put Club of Dagda onto Darnacusk, for example, and now you've got 10 shards worth of, technically 9 shards worth of attacking, if that makes sense. Cool. So yeah, those two have not changed, just kind of like slight wording updates. The next two have not changed very much either. So Golden Apple of Eris has not changed. So 5 strength. During their turn, any player may pay the owner of this card 2 shards to attach it to a character. Sorry, Lewis said, erased by Darwin. What counts as erased with it? Does it have to be just from 4? Right, so the reason why it says erased by Darwin specifically, just to be very clear. So let's say you had Darwin attached to... Let's say you had Darwin attached to Umbra Igneous, Lewis, which for those who don't know, Umbra Igneous is the card where when you attack, you may erase a location. So let's say you had Darwin attached to Umbra. Let's say you attack a character, let's just say a Hatchling. So you get to use Umbra's ability to erase a location. Because that location is being erased by Umbra's ability, not Darwin, you don't gain the shards. So you only get the shards with Darwin if you're actually attacking and damaging that location. But yes, in answer to your question, let's say the location was 6. Let's say it was a Norso Totem, so it was a 6 strength. And you're attacking with Darwin and Umbra Igneous. So when you attack, it's combined. So the 4 strength of Darwin, the 3 strength of Umbra Aqueous, that's 7 strength. You attack the Norso Totem, you kill it. You have used Darwin to erase that Norso Totem, so you would gain all 6 shards. Would that mean you don't get the shards if you attack a 5-cost location? No. Yeah, so it's not about the final hit, because when you attack, the damage is effectively together. It's not done separately. Yeah, so Darwin plus Umbra is 7 attack, boom, all in one go. But the reason for the wording erased by Darwin is in case your character has an ability that erases a location without actually doing the damage. Yeah, that is the clarification there. But very good question. Good thing to bring up. I'll probably put that in the FAQ. Yeah, as long as diamond attached and doing damage, it counts. Yeah. So going back to the golden apple then, so again, I'm going to go through these really quickly because these have only had slight wording changes, not actual gameplay ability changes. Golden apple of Virus is during their turn, any player may pay the owner of this card, owner being the person who brought the card to the table, 2 shards to attach it to another character. So I could play golden apple on my turn. And then on Henry's turn, Henry could could give me 2 shards. So Henry would go down 2 shards, I would go up 2 shards, and then Henry could attach the golden apple onto his character and then use it for whatever reason he wants to. You know, he could use it for an attack. Provided that the golden apple is still alive, let's say it's now Heron's turn, Heron could give me 2 shards. So again, even though Henry's now got the apple, it would still be to me. So he could give me 2 shards and then he would have the apple. When it comes back round to my turn, I am going to be, I can take the apple. Now, Chris, I asked you this question ages ago, and for the life of me, I've forgotten the answer. Obviously, as the owner of the card, you aren't going to lose any shards by taking the apple back because you're technically paying 2 shards to yourself. But I want to check with Chris. I did ask this question before. Do you have to steal -2 to gain 2? For example, if I was starting my turn on just 1 shard, can I technically not take the apple back? Yes, yeah. Would I technically have to have 3 shards to be able to spend 2 to gain 2? If you only have 1 shard or 2 shards in your bank, you wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah, so you still actually have to spend it to get it back. So if anybody ever has 1 or 2 shards, they can't take the apple back. So that's a good tactic if you're an Achroma player. Steal pay for the apple, but then leave your opponent on only 1 or 2 shards. I mean, I guess they could just trade or wait. You could wait till you resolve and then take it, I guess. So that probably wouldn't happen. But yes, there you go. Good for confirming that. Yeah, it's like the TTRPG apple flying over the place. I think it's going to be really fun. A lot of people have written down the apple saying that they're not going to put it in their palettes, but I think it's really fun. It's a 5-cost object of power. I don't think it's going to be very good in 1v1s because you don't really want your opponent to have the apple because they'll use it to attack you. But in a 5 or 6 player game, I feel like that's going to be like if you're building a palette specifically around I will use this for 5, 6 player games, I think that's going to be a really good card. Yeah, it's a multiplayer card. Mongoose, you really love the theme of the apple? Yeah, I love it too. So then the other side, Jamship Orb, that has had a slight change. So before it said Jamship Orb has protection, the attached character has protection. It's changed slightly. Jamship Orb now reads the attached character cannot be erased, which actually, believe it or not, is a buff because protection can be eaten through by poisonous. So for example, if you had Jamship Orb on, let's say, I don't know, let's go with a Copper Joss. No, that's the wrong card because you can't be attacked. Oh my gosh, should I think of a card? Darnacusk, let's just go Darnacusk. So let's say you had Jamship Orb on Darnacusk and you attacked with a Funguar with a Ballistic Belt. Okay, Funguar and a Ballistic Belt versus Darnacusk with Jamship Orb. In that case, so when Funguar attacks, because Funguar has poisonous, yes, the Jamship Orb would be erased because poisonous goes through protection. However, because the ability of Jamship Orb says the attached character cannot be erased, that means that in that one attack, which remember, the attack happens at the same time. It's not, oh, the orb goes, then the character goes. So Jamship Orb actually protects the character from poisonous as well. Because the poisonous would not, even though it would eat through, it cannot be erased. So it's actually a bit of a buff, actually. So yeah, Jamship Orb, very, very powerful realm. Give the orb to Funguar, absolutely. Welcome in, Joe. I like the idea of shifting your apple during the turn to your own canvas, attacking down the line with 5 strength. Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's going to be quite hard to attack. Well, yeah, it's going to be very strong Copper Joss, Lewis, you're right. It won't be +5 as it'll be still seen as taking damage. Yeah, so the Darnacusk would still take damage in that situation, but where normally, when you take damage with poisonous, you'll then get erased. You wouldn't get erased because of Jamship Orb now. Yeah, exactly. It means you can only bounce, retain, or claim it. Absolutely. And then the last 2 cards, this has been a slight change, is Mark of Serum and Serpents Ring. It won't be a +5. So it will take damage, but remember that all objects of power heal back to 5 every time they change turn. So if I attacked with the apple and it went down to 2 shards, at the end of my turn, that would go back up to 5, and then it would be, your turn with 5 shards. So as it would keep healing itself. The apple would only disappear if somebody attacked something larger than 5 shards with it. So Mask of Mysterium has not changed. All other players must play with their hand revealed whilst Mask of Mysterium is on your canvas. And Serpents Ring, it's not been changed, it's just been clarified that the attached character becomes a copy of a character on any canvas, gaining all of its abilities and strength. So a bit like in the same way that we've updated Double Trouble to make sure that Double Trouble does not include actions, it's the same thing with Serpents Ring. It's the attached character becomes a copy of a character, gaining all of its abilities and strength, but does not gain the shards and does not gain the thing. Well, the mask was updated slightly, but in my correct me if I'm wrong, Lewis, it hasn't changed. It makes clearer who controls ability. Yes, it hasn't actually changed how it works. It just made it clearer because it now says Mask of Mysterium is on your canvas. So if I had Mask of Mysterium on my canvas, everybody else has to play open-handed. If Lewis then played Jarvis and stole my Mask of Mysterium, Lewis could then hide his hand again, my hand would be revealed, which I'm pretty certain was the way it was supposed to be played before. It's just that, yeah, it's just been made a bit clearer. So there we go. Those are all the Realm Runners and Realm Relics. Those are now not subject to change. Those have gone to the printer. Those are all of those. I will put them in the Discord after stream. Any other questions, let me know in chat, and me and Chillman will do our best to answer. But I would like to move swiftly on to the next part of the stream because we haven't even gotten to probably this is... Oh, wait, no, there's one more bit of news. I keep getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited for what's coming up. So the one other bit of news before we move on is that we do have a spring sale going on called the Salem Spring Sale. So from the 24th of March, which for reference was a few days ago for those that have maybe slept the weekend away, until the 2nd of April, so that's in what, another 6 or 7 days, you can get 15% off our entire store, online or in store. It does not include the charity card Dexter, just to be very clear. And with all orders that you do, you will get the Salem Spring promo card. Although to mention, if you just buy Dexter, you would not get the Salem Spring card. You have to buy, the other products, as again, that's separate being a charity card. So yes, definitely, if you want to pick up your last first edition cards, get some more cards to bolster your collection, you just fancy an extra copy of Salem Spring, then definitely go and make an order to get yourself some money off and get yourself a card. Dickon already made an order? Fantastic. In which case, enjoy your Salem Spring promo card. The day after the Curdle event, what a coincidence. Yeah, exactly. It's a sale running up to the event. I imagine that we're probably going to do something similar for future ones as well. I was on about if you keep passing it on your canvas. Oh, I see, yes. Well, actually, no, sorry. I know we're going back a little bit, which I don't really want to do too much because I want to move forward, but... Oh, I didn't think about that. You mentioned that with Apple, so you would pay 2 shards to take it, you do an attack, and then you pay another 2 shards to move it to your next character. Yes, technically you could do that, because it's not once per turn, but obviously, yes, if you were making multiple attacks on one turn, you're absolutely right, Heron, that it would obviously lose its value. So some people may do that, some people won't. We'll see how it is. You'll have 2 of them soon. Yes, and obviously it'll be installed during the event, which we are about to talk about. So, the next bit of the stream is we talk about the upcoming events. And the big one for this week is the one that is literally coming next week. So, let's talk about the Curse of Curdle Hill special event. You know what? That's actually just as the music is about to end, so I think it's only fair that if I just jump back, I think we should put on some Curdle Hill music. What do we think, folks? I think we should have some Curdle Hill lo-fi. There you go. We'll have that whilst we're discussing the Curdle Hill event. So, next Saturday on the 1st of April is the Curse of Curdle Hill special event. Not only is this going to be the event, but it will also mark the start of the next... I say the next season. It's technically the first season for Achroma. Now, I don't have the time in today's stream to exactly explain what is a season. You can check out one of the previous streams for that. I also have an article coming out early this week that'll explain it in more detail. I do love to promote my articles, don't I, today? But what we're going to talk about today is the Curse of Curdle Hill special event, which is happening specifically next Saturday, which I can confirm the special event is not an April Fool's. If you come to the store, it will actually be an event. Order made, sweet discount off some collector sets. Very nice mongoose. Well done, buddy. So this is happening next Saturday. It is an event which you can come and see us in store at Pool, at the official Achroma store. It's also going to be running simultaneously at one of our stores called Bash. I say one of our stores, sorry, that sounds like we own it. One of our kind of associated stores, Boards and Sword Hobbies over in Derby. So anyone that goes there will be part of the event as well. So I've got lots of details to share about what this event is. So firstly, what is the event, the Curse of Curdle Hill special event? Now, I'm sorry if I'm looking off screen slightly. I have a bit of a script to follow for this. So the Curse of Curdle Hill is fundamentally a climactic battle between Achroma versus Achroma to seal the fate of what actually happens at the end of the Curse of Curdle Hill Chronicle. So to give a bit more context, Curse of Curdle Hill isn't the realm. The realm is Salem Planum. Curse of Curdle Hill is a location within Salem Planum, and the original Curse of Curdle Hill Chronicle is like a chapter. It's a point in time for the Achroma universe. And this event is effectively, it's our way of turning the page. It's about finishing that chapter, if you will, before we turn to chapter 2 for this realm, which is coming later on in this season. Very soon, actually. So during this event, the Achroma community is going to be encouraged to pick a side. It's why I asked you guys earlier, are you going to be picking Achroma or Achroma? And you're then going to play games of Achroma. Now, this is going to be Achroma Canvas games, Achroma Heroes games. Obviously, we are going to be bringing out the adventure game, hopefully very, very soon. And if it does come out during the time period of the event, that will count to it as well. And what you're aiming to do, no matter what game mode you're playing, you want to try and get wins for your side. So you either want to get a Achroma win, or you want to try and get an Achroma win. And put simply, at the end of the event, whichever side has the highest amount of wins will be the winner. This is probably going to spark a few more questions. I hopefully have the answers for them. So the first question you're probably thinking is, well, how long is this event? So the event starts next Saturday during our one-day event. However, it is not a one-day full event. So this one day in the store is almost like a launch day. The actual event will take place throughout the entirety of April. So it's not just that one day. All of April, every single game of Canvas and Ranked and Heroes and Adventure game that you play in April will go towards this event. Obviously, the actual in-store event is only next Saturday, only in Bash and in the Achroma store in Poole. So the next question is, well, who can take place at the event? Who can take part? Effectively, anybody that owns Achroma cards and has the Achroma Companion app can take part. So regardless of whether you have the Curse of Curdle Hill cards, there is no expectation, there is no limit on which cards you use. So if you only have the Siege of Draco Temple cards, that's fine. You can use those to win with Achroma or use those to win with Achroma, and it will still count. There's nothing in the app which is choosing like Curse of Curdle Hill sides. One thing you do have to be careful with is when you are playing your games, folks, you must play them in ranked mode. So when you load the app, there's a little ranked tick, which automatically is ticked. Essentially, it's the online mode. You can't play offline. That's for two reasons. One, it's so that there's obviously, we can't, well, the main reason is we can't track your games. When you play offline, it doesn't read to our server, so we can't track them. And secondly, it's to stop people from just going, start an offline game, up to 30. Start another game, up to 30. You actually have to play the games, folks. As for the in-store event, in terms of the question who can play, it is a free event, so anybody that turns up to the store during our normal opening hours and the normal opening hours for Bash can take part in the event. There is no limits, there is no fee. The only limit is how many people we can squeeze in the door, but we will make it work. So yes, anybody can play as long as you have cards and the app. So what is the end result then? Why are we even doing this? So what will happen firstly is during the event, folks, there will be a global achrometer. For those who don't know what an achrometer is, hopefully you've all seen the app. In the app, when you click on your profile, you can see like that sliding scale of good to bad, of Achroma to Achroma. That's called an achrometer. It's a sliding scale of good versus evil. So there is going to be a global achrometer. Now, I've been told that it's going to be accessible on a web page. So details of that web page will be posted on our socials as soon as we are ready for it. So you'll be able to live track how many Achroma wins have there been versus Achroma wins as the month goes on. I know that I personally, this might ruffle some feathers, but you know what I'm going to be doing? Most people that know me, I'm actually a middle ground person. I like playing both sides. So I'm going to be, whichever side is losing, I'm going to be playing games to that one. I want to keep it close. Yes, it will be live for the event. So, well, okay. To be very clear, Lewis, I actually don't know the answer to that, so maybe I shouldn't have answered that so hastily. But as far as I'm aware, yes, the intention is to have it live ready for Saturday, as otherwise that would kind of... If it's not ready for Saturday, then it's going to put the whole event into a bit of arrears. So I don't actually know the official answer, but I'd imagine it's going to be a yes. Well... Oh, we might be tracking the games. Maybe the Achroma might... Oh, I'll find out. As soon as I find out, I'll put it in the Discord. Or maybe Cooper will know. Right, so what happens at the end? So at the end, one side will win. What does that actually do? So it will, firstly, it will close off the lore for Curdle Hill. So we do have a short story that is going to be written... Well, I say we have one. There will be a short story in the lore in the lore side of things that will be released that will explain, you know, based on whether Achroma won or whether Achroma won, what happened to Curdle Hill? What was the fate of Curdle Hill? Which will be a nice little way of you know, seeing what happened. Secondly, I did say that we're not going to talk much about the season. Again, check out my previous stream. But what will be happening next in the season is in May time, give or take, don't quote me on May, but in about May time, we're going to be releasing the next Chronicle for Salem Planum in Chapter 2. So it'll be a new set of 60 cards. Now, I don't know exactly how many. I genuinely don't know. But I'm told a small number of slots of those 60 cards will actually be affected by the result. So the actual cards that get released in the next release will be changed based on whether Achroma win or Achroma wins. Now again, only a very small change. It's not suddenly like all of the cards are going to be Achroma. It's going to be just a few cards, but they will be directly influenced based on your game. So you guys, the players, are actually influencing what comes next. So very, very cool. Team Chroma, Kara is going to snub Isadora and redecorate Murky Manor with some borrowed fairy splat. I love that. I love that, Morgus. That sounds great. Yes, we're doing everything we can. Hopefully, yes. There we go. Hopefully, ends up getting a big boom dropped by Fungi. Chroma needs to win, needs to start playing more again. Absolutely. So the last thing I need to mention about the event is what's actually going to happen on the day. Because so far, everything we've discussed is purely about what's going to happen over that 4-week period. But for those that can actually make it to the Achroma store down in Poole or the store, Derby store at Bash, we do have some very special stuff for you on the day. So, for those that enter the event on the day, obviously, the idea is going to be that you play lots of games of Achroma, because the whole point is that you're playing games to influence the result. But we have something special, which is going to change and adapt how your games work. So, not only will every single person who comes into the store get a copy of the Salem Planum promo cards, Salem Spring, so everyone that gets there will get a free one, which is very nice. We will also have some fun ways to influence and adapt the regular games of Achroma. So on every table in the store, again, this hopefully will be at Bash as well, provided that I'm guessing it's being sent up, just in case there might be an issue, but I'm pretty certain they are being sent up. On each table will be a pack of oversized cards. So imagine cards like probably about this size is what I'm imagining, but I genuinely don't know. But I imagine they're probably going to be like A5 size, I'd imagine. These cards will be Curdle Hill themed and will contain events and situations that deploy and resolve during your games, essentially evolving your canvas. It will adapt the rules and will turn these battles into unique chaos like never seen before. So, for example, these are subject to change, but these are two of the example cards. Hot-headed enforcers. Not even Detective Cronus can something, hot-headed major something enforcer. I'm not going to read the law. All players must erase the highest shard value character or location from their canvas. Chromatic Swell, all players immediately +5. So how this will work is at the start of every round, which is, like let's say you're playing 5 players, let's say I'm going first, it's every time it comes back round to my turn. So it's at the top of the round, as it were, not each player's turn. You as a team will turn over the next card, and some cards will have an instant resolve, so like immediately +5, or the other one is all players must erase their highest value character or location from their canvas. There will be some cards that give a lasting effect for that round. So it might be, for this round, all gain effects in the resolve step are halved. So it might really hurt Chroma players. It might be, for this round only, no characters can be deployed. Yeah, it could be that no characters can be deployed. Yeah, so if you're on 25 shards, that card comes over, boom, you win. Don't start asking me what happens if 2 people are on 25 and Chromatic Swell comes out. I imagine that it just to flip a coin, one of you win. These haven't been like properly play tested. This is just it's just a bit of fun. Let the chaos rule. Heron, Daniel says, are these going to be available to purchase? The answer is no, not in the store on Saturday. But who knows? Maybe in the future, it might be a separate game mode we might release at a later date. But I genuinely know nothing. There is nothing confirmed. All I know is this is something we've created for a bit of fun on the day. Whether it becomes a separate game mode or cards that you can buy in the future, maybe. I mean, what we might be able to do, Daniel, again, I don't want to make promises, so I'm going to say this as a question, and maybe Chris can confirm for me. I'm sure there would be no issue with us maybe putting something in the Discord after the event and list, here's the cards that we made, so that if you maybe wanted to like write them on a bit of paper and play with it at home for a bit of fun, you maybe could. But in terms of the cards being purchasable, as far as I'm aware, off the top of my head, they'll definitely not be available on Saturday, and I have no idea whether we're looking to actually print these as cards at a later date. All I know is that they're going to be there for the store. I'm sure we'll find out more as the weeks go on. Amelia wants to play some games on Saturday. That'll be fantastic. But yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. So yeah, these events and actions are going to keep you on your toes, make for some really interesting games, and really highlight the chaos that is the fight for the Battle of Curdle Hill. Now, there is one more thing that is going to be at the event. Let me get rid of that photo and bring back this one. Maybe I should add some bot functionality. Maybe, yeah, we'll see. We'll discuss it. We'll discuss it. Now, the other thing, for those that fancy it, so I did mention earlier in the stream about the cube functionality, the cube format that was tested last Thursday. Now, again, I can confirm that this is not something that is like going to be, you know, this is not something we're suddenly going to start selling. If it is, it's not something that I'm aware of. But for a bit of fun, we are also doing a cube event in the store. So if you want to come in and play a Curse of Curdle Hill cube format, we are going to arrange the boxes and the cards ready for people to have a go at the cube format in the store. Hopefully that'll be at Bash as well. I don't know for a fact about Bash, but hopefully they're going to be doing that. But yeah, so if you fancy a go at Curse of Curdle Hill Bash, then that will be available in the store on Saturday as well. But again, it's optional. I know that some people weren't a big fan of that. It's optional. You can just play regular games. And if you don't want to play the special event, if you come on the day and actually you don't fancy using the big cards, you still don't have to. You can just come and play regular games. But I'd say use them. They'll be good fun. The bot's already immense. That is very true. What time is the event at Bash on Saturday? I don't know for Bash. I imagine it's their regular opening hours. I will ask someone at Bash for you, and I will put it in the Discord ASAP, Heron. I assume it's just their regular opening hours. Cool, so that is the Curse of Curdle Hill event. If anybody has any questions, let me know, but that is all the details you need to know. The next bit in the stream, though, is the bit that you all love to see, because we've got some special sneak peeks. So this week, we have a total of 18 cards to show you, if I think correctly. 8. Yeah, I think 18. Maybe it's a bit more, actually. 10 till 7. Okay, love, 10 till 5. Perfect. Thank you very much for that one, Richard. So, okay. What would you like to see first, chat? I have loads of alt art cards, or I have some more expansion cards. What do you want to see first? Type expansion or alt art? Let's see what people want to see first, whilst I have a drink. Gives me a good opportunity to have a quick break. You're going to see them all, but do you want to see alt arts or do you want to see expansion cards? I'd imagine it's Bash normal opening time. Yeah, I think so. I think so. So Lewis wants to see alt arts. Heron, now here for the fan art more than alt. Okay, you want alt art cards. Dickon wants expansion. Sarah wants alt art. Manny is posting Bash details and group details. Lovely. Whenever he does Mongoose, do you mind messaging me or putting it in the Discord, and I'll put it in the IRL events channel of our Discord so people can see that as well. Okay, so it looks like alt art wins. So let's look at the alt arts first. Now, I'll be very clear. 2 things I want to mention about the alt arts. Those 2 shouldn't be there. That's fine. I just went over. So firstly, I have not seen these. I can see the thumbnails. I can see roughly what's coming, but I have not looked at these. So I'm going to be reacting with these with you guys as well. Do you remember from last week's stream and also the article, I said that we've got 3 categories of alt art. We've got cinematic alt arts, we've got concept art alt art, and we've got community alt arts. The community alt arts I'll be revealing next stream because those are needed a few more tweaks. They're not exactly finished yet. So you won't see any of the community ones today. All the ones I'm about to show you are either concept art or they've been designed by the same team that did the cinematic. Are we ready? Hello, Mira. Good to see you. How you doing? So let's start with this one. I have no idea what I'm seeing here. Oh, I'm so pleased. We've got the portal, and I am so happy with that Tenebris. Okay, so these are clearly cinematic ones, because these are from the cinematic one. Hey, Wolf, welcome in. Good to see you. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at that for Tenebris. Obviously, we know that's from the animation, but I'm so glad that's come to the card. That is amazing. And that, look at that Otrix shot. That is absolutely beautiful. Oh, what do we think of that, folks? Does that excite you for those that are getting those old arts come in? That is absolutely beautiful. Amazing work by them. They're actually sweet. That's going to make me want to make another Tenebris deck now just for that. That is so beautiful. Look after these cards when you get them, folks, because these are just insane. Wow. Again, massive props to the team that did the animation. Feral, because they outdid themselves with that. That's absolutely brilliant. Very, very nice. So we've got Tenebris and we've got Otrix. Let's see. The next two, from my thumbnail, it looks like they're concept art. I'm not using them. Oh, no. Oh, my... I love these. I'm glad I was talking the first edition. Absolutely. Oh, my gosh. Look at that Miss Potts. Is that a not suitable for work one? We're seeing her undies. Look at her wings. They make me want to swap size to Achroma. Oh, I'm liking that, mongoose. Oh my gosh, look at Mrs. Potts. She's doing like a... What's she doing? She's doing like a butt slam. What's she doing it on? Is that like... I don't know, is she landing on something? Oh, that's so cute. That's very Studio Ghibli, isn't it? Like, I love the face. That's so cute. Yeah, it looks like she's falling, but the ground is really close to her. Maybe she was trying to fly. Yeah, exactly, a butt slam. Anytime anybody plays Mrs. Potts of that version and attacks with something, let's say you attack somebody, I want you to say, no, Mrs. Potts is going to butt slam this card. I'm calling it now. Yeah, her wings are not looking good, as in, like, the drawing looks fantastic, but they look like they've struggled. Maybe that's why she's falling. Yeah, unless she's gone WWF, exactly. She's digging the dregs. Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, she's deep diving into the dregs, maybe. Oh, that's brilliant. And can we talk about that Guardians of Flutterby Falls? I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom in. Look at the detail on those dragons. That's like a complete shift. Like the other kind of drawing style that we've had from Vinny. Obviously, these are all from Matt Vince, our original artist. Well, obviously very, cartoon-like in a very good way, obviously. But this is less cartoon. This is more realistic. I appreciate it's a fantasy animal, but you know what I mean. That is genuinely beautiful. I heard Vince doesn't do very much. As in, like, I'm guessing, yeah, that is actually beautiful. I am really pleased about both of those cards. They look epic. Really beautiful. Yeah, very different dragon style. Fantastic. Oh, well, that just gets me more and more excited. Okay, I've got 3 more to show you. So this next one, I believe, is another cinematic one. Now, one of these, I know for a fact we've seen in Discord already. So Civ of Lakringi, we have had sneak peeked in Discord, but some of you might not have seen it. Civ is insane in this one. Look how cool she looks. And look at that from Snorri. That's actually Crush. I'm gonna call you Crush from now on, Chris. Snorri, that's actually quite haunting. Do you guys agree? Like, I could have nightmares of that Snorri. He's scary. But again, I like that. We're not only are we seeing alternative arts, we're seeing different personalities, different sides of these characters. But yeah, Civ, aka Captain America, that is just an amazing action shot. Love it. Beautiful artwork. Again, these two have been done by the same production company, Feral Studios, who did the animation. If you've not checked that already, go check out the trailer on our YouTube channel or website. Definitely check out Feral Studios as well. But yeah, Snorri, beautiful. Action shot, cheering people on. Brilliant. Really cool. The Civ's colors are gorgeous. Yeah, the indigo and cyan, really beautiful. Fantastic. Brilliant. Again, all of these are going to be posted in our Discord at the end of the stream as well. The next two, I think, are... Oh, I think it's one of each, actually. Let's see. Okay, so I think the left one, the Mage Sully Agent, that is a concept art. The right-hand side... I can't tell. Is that concept art or is that... No, that must... I think that is the animation because that's the same thing in the animation, unless that was a concept art. Can you confirm, Chris? Because I actually can't tell whether that's Matt's drawing or Feral Studios. It's very similar. The one on the left is definitely concept art. And admittedly, that does look very similar to the normal card, but I really like that it's a bit of a color shift. It's like an early drawing. It's still really, it's very rustic, I think is the word. I like that. I do like that one. Yeah, okay, yeah. So Feral Child is the Huxon. I thought so. Because it's almost, they've almost gone into Vinny's style a little bit there, but it is the action pose from there. But again, absolutely beautiful. Loving these action shots. I love that we've almost got a smile from Huxon there. I'm like, yeah, I can take this. Beautiful cards. Yeah, very oldie world rustic. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's very nice. Oh, very cool. Again, congratulations to Vinny and the team for that one. Very cool. And then I've got one more to show you for the alt art cards at least. Then we've got some sneak peeks. Oh my gosh. These are proper concepts. Look at that. That's so different. Hopefully we have ways to get more of these. I will announce that in a moment, Lewis. I'll announce that in the moment. So firstly, I really like that Lost Fairies. I think that's so... There's so much emotion in that one. Mongoose, enjoy the rest of the stream. Good night, all. Good night, Mongoose. Pleasure to see you, buddy. There is so much emotion in that Lost Fairies. Before, they kind of just look like, yeah, we're here, we'll deal with it. But you could, this almost looks like, this is the very moment they got stranded. They've just gone through the portal and suddenly they got stranded and now they're stuck in this, world that is not designed for them sort of thing. Yeah, there's a whole story in the Lost Fairies card, I agree. Really like that. I really like the card. And the Glacius Draco. Beautiful, very rustic with that lack of color. Again, love the early drawing. Looks very different with all those kind of bits on the shoulders. That is really cool. Really cool. It does excite. Now, whilst we're on the topic of alt arts then, so Lewis has said, hopefully we have ways of getting more of these in the future. So to confirm, for those that, obviously the people that are getting the alt art cards are those that are... have pledged in the Kickstarter. So depending on which level you pledged at, it depends on which alt arts you get. If you're unsure of which alt art cards you're getting, check out my previous article on the website. It's quite recent. It says alt art cards. It explains it all there. But for those that are not getting any alt art cards, because maybe you didn't pledge in the Kickstarter, or you know that you're not getting all of them, I'm allowed to confirm that moving forward, all of the alt art cards that you've seen so far, basically the 48 that are coming out, are not Kickstarter exclusive. What's going to happen is moving into the future, anytime you buy an Achroma palette for one of the original Chapter 1 factions, of which all these alt art cards slip into, there will be a 50% chance that one of the cards will be an alt art card instead. So yes, that is a little bit of RNG. I know that people have, feel differently about RNG, but to be very clear, there is no RNG about what cards you're actually getting. It's just that the alt art, it's nice to get a bit of a, it makes them a bit more rarer, makes them a bit more exciting to own, exciting to have. So yes, so those that obviously pledged on the Kickstarter, congratulations, you're going to get, your copies of them straight away. For those that didn't get them, you will still be able to get them either through trading or simply buying an Achroma palette and seeing if you're lucky enough to get one. And I have no doubt that there will be future alt art cards. I know for a fact that there will be I don't know for a fact, actually, that's a lie. I know that we are hoping to do some more in the future. When they will be, what they will be, I do not know as a fact. I know that the topography, the cartography ones are ones that we would like to do, but again, not confirmed. Yeah, just because it was based on me doesn't mean it's actually me. Basically, low now, thanks. Oh, bless. How do I get featured in a card? Asking for myself. Very good question, Mira. I mean, to be fair, you actually just missed out on the opportunity, Mira. I'm not sure if you saw, but on the Kickstarter, there was a 1,200 pledge where if you pledged the 1,200, you actually would able to go to the store and you could actually get a card designed to be in the game that is your design. So technically, you could have chosen yourself. Maybe that will come across another Kickstarter, who knows. But yes, so that is it was a big one. It was, for, I think 3 people pledged it. So 3 people are getting those cards. So those are the alt art cards. I now have 8 expansion cards to show you. Now, I have seen these cards. The mirror is 2,400. I have seen these cards, so this is less of a reaction from me. But these are cards that are, again, coming out with the expansion, Rise of the Realm Runners. Some of you will already know if these cards are coming your way if you've bought it. To be very clear, these cards will be available in the expansion packs that will be coming out in the store for pre-order very, very soon. But do you get everything? Yes, Saren. So if you whoever pledged for the 1,200, they're getting 1 copy of every card, all the alt art cards, and they get their own card. It was basically everything in that pledge. It was pretty cool. So the first cards to show you. These are all from Salem. Sorry, these are all from the Spiritor Planum and Norso Planum. I did say they were going to be. So these two are from Spiritor, so Fall of Flutterby. We've got Corruption Grenade. It is a 2-cost object. It is 2 strength. It has the keyword Dispose, which is essentially you can chuck it in your dregs at any point you want. And if you do dispose of it, you get -1 for each card with Squish on your canvas. So if you had 6 cards on your canvas with Squish, and then you do dispose, you're going to suddenly get an extra -6, but then obviously the grenade's gone. So yeah, that's going to be really good in Pixie decks. That's going to be a very, very used object. It's very, very cool. And on the right-hand side, you have a rare. Now keep in mind that for each realm, there's only 1 rare object and 1 rare action. So this is the rare object for Spiritor. So it's called Craven's Katana. Looks very awesome, obviously. 4 strength, and the ability is each time you attack with Craven's Katana, you can reveal a card with Achroma. Again, reveal is the new keyword, whereby you get to you turn over each top card in your palette until you find a card with Achroma. You don't get to play it for free. It's not the same as Murky Mana or some of the Realm Runes, but it then goes into your hand. So it's just a very, very strong object of power, which will help a lot with some of the pixies that are weak, but it means that you're going to be getting more cards. It's basically its card draw, which, let's be honest, is quite useful in Achroma decks. Let's look at the lore as well. Craven's Katana is always sharp, ready to slice, and can cut down anybody who challenges him. And this grenade doesn't explode, but implodes, drawing all of the chroma from anything nearby. Very, very cool. The next expansion cards I've got for you are also from the Spiritor Planum, and look at how cute this is, folks. Yeah, it's going to help out a lot. So we got Creature Comforts. It's an action, 2 cost, and it allows you to reveal a creature. So you guys that know me know that this is 110% going into my Funguar deck, because it means that I can reveal Funguar. So yeah, essentially it allows you to go and reveal a creature, which is very, very useful if you're looking for a Funguar. If you desperately need that cave snail for some prevent. Oh, I appreciate that's a different realm. What other creatures have got? An imp, or Dracon. Just a really nice little way of revealing those. We do have some other cards that are about creatures. So those there might be some people. When I first saw this card, my first thought was, well, creatures aren't used very often. But I'll tell you now, a slight sneak peek from me is that there are other cards coming out which involve creatures, which makes this card paired with those pretty cool. But yeah, very, very cute artwork by Marco. And on the other side, we've got Squad Formation, which is 3 cost, reveal a painter, then reveal a fairy. So it's essentially a 3-cost card, and it allows you to draw a painter and a fairy. So that's a really, really strong card, because you're getting 2 cards into your hand. But obviously, that could reveal your Copper Joss. That could reveal your Spiral. But obviously, it's a bit of a risk. You don't know what you're going to draw. So yeah, very cool. That card, yes, that was the card that Marco showed us as a concept. So it's really nice to see it drawn finally. So yeah, very, very 2 cool cards. Hopefully you guys have some ideas of how you're going to use those in your Spiritor palettes. Next, we go back to the... now we're going to the Norso Planum, Warriors of Wishwell. So we have got Siv's Shield and Tufts' Companionship. So these are, so Siv's Shield is a heroic object. It has 3 strength, and I think this is really strong. Shield Wall 2. So that stacks really well with Siv, who gets more gain based on Shield Wall. The attached character may defend once per turn, so it's kind of like Glacey's Draco. And Siv's Shield has protection when defending. So when you're defending with Siv's Shield, the shield itself doesn't take any damage. Your character still would. So if you had Leaf of Lakringi, who's a 3 cost with Siv's Shield, so you now got 6, and you defended from, let's say, Darnacusk, you're still going to lose everything, because Leaf doesn't have protection, but Siv's Shield does. But it's really cool. Really, really cool still. Obviously, it doesn't have any resolve, so really you want to play it with Siv. But we have indeed got the Pineapple Boy. I reckon Tufta might try and take the crown of Funguar for being the cutest character in Achroma. So he's technically a resource. He's not actually a character, actually. It didn't look like a Mandrake. So Tufta, he's a 3-cost action, deploy a creature for free, then immediately +2 for each creature on your canvas. So to be very aware, this isn't stacking with the previous card, because the previous card was in the Spiritor Planum. So this means that you could deploy a creature for free. Obviously, creatures in the Norso Planum is things like Cave Salamander, Cave Snail, Chroma Worm. Or is that, no, is that Spirito? There's one of the worms in Norso. And then you can +2 for each creature on your canvas. So creature decks maybe might become a thing. Yeah, very cool. And he's very, very cute, Tufter. Leaf doesn't go anywhere without bringing Tufter with him, no matter how dangerous the adventure. It's very cute. Okay, and look, I like the lore of Civ Shield that it was actually Magnus spent 2 days crafting the shield. So it was Magnus that actually made it. Very, very cool. Velvet Worm, that's the one. Thank you, Ticon. So then the last expansion card to show you today, folks, is the, again from Norso Totem, this is the rare action. So this is the rare action from Norso. It is Briscavi Feast. Look at how cool that drawing is. That is one of the ones we saw a concept of before. So it's 4 cost, but look how amazing this is going to be for your Briscavi boys. All characters on your canvas have strength increased by 2 this turn. Until the end of this turn, immediately steal 1 each time your characters attack. So how amazing is that going to be in a Briscavi Raiders palette? Put that with, you know, Chieftain Snorre and a few of your Briscavi. Yeah. And that's going to be massive. It obviously takes a bit of setup. You still have to get those characters out and get ready to attack with them. But really, really strong. And also, you know, Briscavi can sometimes struggle for shards. If you can't play it, at least you can trade it for 4 as well. But yeah, that's definitely going in my palette as well. I agree. But it's going to be hard what to take out because I love Gunnar. I love Brynhild, Samir Smash, and Briscavi Falls. So you're going to have to make room for it somewhere. I don't know, Joe. I know you quite like the Briscavi, so let me know where you think that's going to take them out. Yeah, with Rage as well. So if you have multiple characters with Rage, and don't forget about this. If I just go back a second, I will bring these back in just a moment. Don't forget about this, Dickon. Imagine if you have your Club of Dagda on your Chieftain Snorre. So now you have unlimited attacks where every time you attack, you get +1. And if you've played that action, you'd actually be stealing 1. So every attack you'd be, with Club of Dagda at least, every attack you'd be gaining 1 and stealing 1. How cool would that be? In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to make a palette with Club of Dagda, a Briscavi Raiders deck with Club of Dagda and that action, Briscavi Feast. It's going to be very situational. It's going to take quite a bit of setup to do, but if you can get that set up, it's going to be beautiful. And then the last one is Briscavi Axe. Very nice to see more objects for Briscavi because, you know, they are quite weak, the characters themselves. 3 cost, -1, and if you dispose of it, you can erase a location with a shard value of 3 or less. So nice to have a bit of extra control. Generally, the Norso realm, Norso plane hasn't had as much control, so it's nice to see a little more of that. Oh, yeah, rares are so competitive in Briscavi. Maybe Brynhild goes out, or maybe throwing Magnus and taking out Briscavi Falls. Yeah, potentially. It's gonna be tough. We're gonna have to get testing, Joe. But yeah, very, very cool cards. So there we go. Those are the sneak peeks I have for you this week. We've seen loads of old art cards, which, let's be honest, are beautiful. And we've also seen some of the more expansion cards. I still have many, many more expansion cards to show you. There's so many you haven't seen, and we've still got some more old art cards. I will show you some more of those next week. But to slowly bring the stream to an end, we like to always end by doing a community showcase where we shine the light on all of the things that you guys have made this week. Now, you guys are going to be surprised. Unless I missed one, I genuinely don't think I did. We didn't actually have any fan art this week, which is fine. Perfectly fine. We've all been busy. But no, there has been no fan art this week, so I won't be showing any of that. But I will say that we have had a new episode of Tales from the Badger set. So if you don't know what this is, one of our community members called Badger, he does a podcast where he reads out some of the lore stories that are on the website, and he does it with a really good narrator voice. He puts on some voices for characters. There's currently 4 episodes. Episodes 3 and 4 came out this week. You can find the link to the Spotify down underneath the stream, and I'm sure he'd appreciate you checking it out. And there is a forum post in the Discord. I'm sure he'd appreciate any feedback as well. But yeah, we've had 2 episodes of that, so thank you as always, Badger, for making those. And on top of that, if you didn't hear about it last week, unfortunately I can't zoom out on that, but it makes the point. We have another one of our community members called Echo who does his own fan-based yes, Lewis, and I was going to come on to that actually. One sec, Lewis. So one of our community members, Echo, has created a fan-based website where he makes articles as well, and you know, talks about his opinions and the community's view on certain things. He has released 2 or 3 more articles this week. He's spoken about the Realm Runners. He's spoken about the big sneak peek we got from Sheriff. He's spoken about some of the palettes that I've made. So the link is down below. Echo would, I'm sure, would appreciate you checking out some of his articles. And again, if you want to give Echo some feedback, there is also a forum post in the creators channel where you can give him some feedback. So thank you, Echo, as always, for your work on those. Now, I don't have an image for it, but actually, funny story, Lewis, I actually had it on my script to mention last week, and I forgot, so I'm going to mention it this week. Can I also give a massive shout out to Lewis in the stream and in the Discord, because Lewis is the maker of the Funguar bot in the Discord. I haven't mentioned it today, but the Discord link is down below if you want to join our lovely growing community. And what Lewis has done is a really useful feature where if you want to maybe share a palette with the community, but you don't want to take a picture of all the cards, what you can do is you can do !deck list in the Discord, then leave a space, then write a number, card name. So you could write 1, Guardians of Flutter by Fools, 2, Funguars, 1, Double Trouble, and you do that, and when you press enter, the bot will then paste an image of your palette with all the cards. It's really, really useful. So well done to Lewis for making that. Very, very helpful. I know a lot of people have been getting a lot of use and some fun out of it as well. So thank you for that, Lewis. And then the last bit is we always like to take a look at some of the palettes that have been made. So this is where people have submitted custom palettes in the Discords, and I like to bring them up on stream and chat about them. Now, this isn't a criticism, it's more just showcasing some of the palettes. So this one has been made by Dickon, who I believe is in the stream currently, so well done, Dickon, for this one. And I really like this palette. I've got a palette that's similar, and I love the playstyle. So this is a Lacringi Holder Troll Object of Power palette from the Norso Planum. So the point of this palette, and hopefully, Dickon, if I miss-say anything, please feel free to correct me, but the whole point of this palette is all around objects. So it's all about, you know, you can see here, if I bring my cursor over, you got 2 catapults, 2 drills, 2 spears, you know, Torsine's Gauntlet, loads of objects of power, and you've got loads of cards that benefit from objects. You've got 2 Lacringi Miners to make objects cheaper. You've got Eric of Lacringi to find and dig for objects. You've got Lacringi Forge, which allows you to find an object. You've got Imbued in the Forges that allows you to play an object for free and then gain +2 for every object on your board. So the idea with this palette, one of the ways you win is you want to try and get all of your objects out on the board. So get your catapults out, get your drills out, get your spears out, get your gauntlet out, then play Imbued in the Forges, and suddenly you could be getting like 10 to 15 shards. There are other cards in here that really benefit. So Samir Smash is great board control. Wishful Market Stall is just great for general gain. Civ and Chiefs Astrid are obviously fantastic choices, just generally for Astrid gives you +2 for every holder troll on your canvas, and as you can see here, you've got a lot of holder trolls, so that's your kind of other win mechanic, is get her out. You got Briscavi Rage to be able to hit some locations, and you got the combination of holder totem and Totem Worship to be able to get some more gain as well. Now, I did say to Dickon in Discord, if it was me personally, I'd maybe take out one of the Totem Worships and maybe one of the Holder Totems and put in 2 of the Briscavi Snares to add in even more objects. But you can't go wrong with a palette like this. It's got, the thing that I like about this is it's got loads of synergy, multiple win conditions, multiple ways to bring cards back. You know, you can dig for objects, you can dig for characters. So if you do lose your Astrid, you can bring her back. It's got a decent amount of control with the Samir, the 2 catapults, the Briscavi Rage. It's a bit of everything, but it just synergizes really well. No matter what 5 cards you draw, you're gonna get a good hand. So yeah, well done to Dickon for building this one. I really, really like this palette. It's one of my favorite personally as well. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, you know, this palette's going to be really fun. When we get the new expansion cards and we get, you know, 28 new objects and actions, it's going to be really interesting to see what else we can build with this. So yeah, very, very cool. Well done to you, mate. So, and with that, I believe that was everything I had on my list today. I'm sure if I missed anything, I can bring it on next stream. But there we go. That brings us to the end of today's weekly news stream. So thank you. So what we've covered is we've covered the Achroma news. The biggest news has been around the fact that you can check out more of the erratas on the articles. We've looked at the Realmless cards and what changes have happened to them. We've done a massive segment on the Curse of Curdle Hill event. So there's, and I am going to be bringing out an article early next week, which will detail that in writing for those that prefer to read it. And then we've seen some really cool sneak peeks and seen some cool community stuff. So that is where the stream is going to end, folks. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody that's joined me in stream. You guys always make it a pleasure for me to be here, because just being able to bounce off you guys, see your opinions, is always just amazing for me. Otherwise, it would just be like a quiet monologue, really. So yes, thank you very much for everybody that's been here. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely rest of your week. Obviously, there will be another stream next Sunday with some more news. But in the meantime, I have been Charles Barton, otherwise known as Reading the Discord, your Achroma community coordinator, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, goodbye.